Cooperation Treaty, the PCT, is designed to make filing an international patent application way simpler. But the real challenge? That comes later, in what's called the national phase. This is where the rubber meets the road, where your application has to prove itself country by country. So let's dive into some of the hidden hurdles you'll want to see coming. Okay, so picture this. You've successfully navigated the whole international phase. You've dotted your I's, crossed your T's, paid the fees, and it really feels like you're on the home stretch. The hard part is over, right? Well, not exactly. The national phase isn't so much a finish line as it is a series of new starting lines, each with its own set of rules. And this is where those hurdles can pop up. I mean, what do you do if a patent office suddenly asks you to prove you even have the right to apply for this patent? Or what if you have that heart-stopping moment where you realize a key detail got completely mangled in translation after you've already filed? These aren't just what-ifs. They're real problems that can totally derail your application if you're not ready for them. So let's tackle that first big hurdle, actually proving you have the right to be there in the first place. You see, entering the national phase isn't just a simple paperwork drop. You have to convince each and every national patent office that you are who you say you are, and crucially, that you are legally entitled to this invention. Think of it like a credentials check. In PCT lingo, these are called special requirements, and a national office can ask for any of them at pretty much any time. You might need to prove who the inventor is, show a document that gives you the right to apply, or justify why you're claiming an earlier priority date. Some places even want a formal sworn oath. Seriously, having this stuff ready to go from day one is absolutely key.
And here's the thing, you almost never do this alone. For most folks who don't actually live in the country they're filing in, getting a local patent agent isn't just a good idea, it's mandatory. This person is your expert on the ground, your legal representative who handles all the back and forth with the national office. The process itself is pretty straightforward, but it is non-negotiable. First, you just confirm that, yep, they require a local agent. Then you formally appoint them, usually with a signed power of attorney. From that moment on, they're your official point of contact, speaking the local procedural language for you. And this quote right here from the WIPO guide itself really nails the best strategy. Handle all of these requirements, getting your agent, prepping your documents, right at the very beginning. Why? Because it's just plain smart. It saves you from that frantic last-minute panic when a deadline is suddenly breathing down your neck.
Okay, but let's be real. Even with the best preparation in the world, mistakes happen. We're all human. In the high-stakes world of patents, though, a tiny error, a simple typo, a bad translation can have massive consequences. The good news? The system has some built-in ways to fix them. Just think about this for a second. You've poured years of your life into an invention, and then a small mistake in the translation accidentally narrows its scope or makes a key claim totally confusing. Could that really put everything you've worked for at risk? Well, yeah, it can, but there are some really important rules for how you can fix it. Here is the golden rule, the absolute most important thing to remember. The scope of your invention is locked in by your original application. That's the boundary. So if a translation accidentally makes it narrower, you can correct it to match that original scope. But, and this is a huge but, you can never use a correction to add new information or to make the invention broader than what you started with. That original document is your fence and you can't go outside of it. And this whole idea of making corrections, it's not just for translations. You can ask to fix obvious mistakes, like typos, as long as they don't change the actual substance of what you invented. And here's a really powerful one. If the patent office itself makes a mistake, like getting your filing date wrong, you absolutely have the right to ask them to fix it. It's a two-way street. All right, now for the stuff that can really keep an applicant up at night. Missed deadlines. It's so easy to do, but a simple oversight can have devastating consequences. The good news is the PCT system has some pretty powerful safety nets built right in. I mean, imagine you miss that critical 12-month window to file your PCT application and claim priority to your first filing. In the past, that was basically game over. You'd lose your priority date everywhere. But today, it's not always the end of the road. There are ways you can actually ask to have that right restored. So the system gives you two main legal arguments you can try to make. The first, and the one that's more widely accepted, is called due care. To win this one, you have to prove that you missed the deadline despite doing everything you possibly could to meet it. The other one is unintentional. This is an easier standard. You just have to argue that you didn't mean to miss it, but it's only accepted in a handful of countries. This chart kind of gives you the lay of the land. Due care is going to be your best bet most of the time, since it's the standard that most offices use. The unintentional standard is a fantastic option to have, but you absolutely have to check if the specific country you're going into even allows for it. At the end of the day, the national law is always the final say. And this whole safety net concept isn't just for priority claims. A lot of legal systems have ways to excuse other missed deadlines during the national phase. They go by some fancy names like reinstatement of rights, but the idea is the same, giving you a fair chance to recover from a simple mistake if the situation calls for it. Okay, so far we've talked a lot about rules and potential problems, but now let's talk about something that really works in your favor. Flexibility. Your application is not set in stone the second you enter the national phase. In fact, you have a guaranteed chance to fine-tune it. 1 month. I want you to remember that. 1 month. It might not sound like a lot of time, but in the PCT system, it's an incredibly powerful window of opportunity. So what's so special about 1 month? Well, the treaty guarantees you at least 1 month after you enter the national phase to amend your claims, your description, and even your drawings. This is a huge strategic advantage. It lets you tweak and tailor your application to fit the specific laws and examination quirks of each individual country, which can dramatically boost your chances of success. Whew, we've covered a lot of ground, right? From proving who you are to fixing mistakes, recovering from delays, and fine-tuning your claims. So let's boil it all down into a final practical checklist. Here it is, your strategic checklist for the national phase. First up, prove your standing. Have all those documents ready to go from day one. Second, appoint your agent early. Don't wait. Third, remember the golden rule of corrections. You can fix things, but you can never, ever add new stuff. Fourth, know your safety nets. Understand how to recover if you miss a deadline. And finally, amend strategically. Use that 1 month window to your advantage. And that really brings us to the big takeaway here. The national phase isn't just about passively following a bunch of rules. It's about understanding the game. Knowing that these special requirements, these correction procedures, and these safety nets exist, that knowledge changes everything. It transforms you from just another applicant into a proactive, strategic navigator who's truly equipped to handle the global patent system.